Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. So I have a guest on here today that I think a lot of you are going to be excited about. A guy that I've been following for a long time. He seems to pop up everywhere that I go. I used to listen a lot to Pat Flynn's podcast, Smart Passive Income, and there's Noah. And then, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I'm listening to Tony Robbins podcast, and boom, there's Noah. And then, of course, Tim Ferriss's podcast, and boom, there's Noah. So Noah shows up everywhere. He shows up in my inbox. I'm a big AppSumo, guy. I buy a lot of AppSumo stuff. So I really pray. And I think one of the reasons why is because Noah has one of those rare qualities in life, which is wisdom. Wisdom is such a rare quality, and Noah definitely possesses that. So I am very happy to welcome Noah Kagan to Simple Programmer YouTube channel podcast. So welcome, Noah.
John, I love talking to you, man. It's even the 15 minutes we were talking before we went live is great. One thing is I just need to end up in your dreams. When I get to that dream level, when you're having wet dreams about me, I know that my work here is done.
All right. I don't know. We'll see about that one. If we get to that level, I think I might have some problems. But so I don't know. So I give us a little bit more of an intro for those of you that don't know who you are. How do you define yourself today? It's always changing, right? It's like,
yeah, I mean, I got a chance to chat with Mike Posner, and he said, he was talking about Quincy Jones saying that if you see someone and they say, hey, you haven't changed at all, when someone sees you, like, oh, you look the same, you haven't changed at all, that's actually a bad thing. And I thought that was a really interesting thing about shedding your snake skin and constantly be evolving. That's why we're still not in horse and buggies. We have cars, and then we'll have flying cars, and then we'll have spaceships. So yeah, I mean, myself, a lot of what I've been going through is a lot of experimentation and growth in the past few years. And some of it is, okay, what things have I not really liked and stopped doing them, and certain work things and personal things and even exercise things. I know that's important to you too. And which things do I really enjoy? Right. In the gym, which things have I gotten bored of? Like I got bored of lifting up a piece of metal and putting it back down, 10 times and then staring at a bunch of other guys in the gym. And so, I'd say right now, who is Noah? Lately, I'd say who Noah is that I'm working on being a good person to myself and to others. I've been working on creating content on my YouTube or podcast or my blog that I think shares actionable, fun things for people wanting to start or grow businesses or improve themselves. And trying to be a good business partner to sumo.com and AppSumo. And then in relationships, I'm trying to be reliable. So one thing that I want to ask you is what's your favorite charity?
Actually, I have a very obscure one. It was this church that I went to that they do they give money to it's called Hope, and they give money to orphans in India. And 100% of the money goes there. So it's like the only one that I totally trust. So I basically put I put 10% of my income and I give it to them pretty much every single month, because I know that helping orphans, right? I know that like India needs that people in India definitely need money, and that orphans are definitely like not a waste of money. So it's like I feel like there's a high leverage there. So that's why I do it.
Well, two things there. And so in terms of being a better person and just trying things out and doing things and seeing what you like and keeping it and removing things that you don't like. When I've been late, so I was late 2 minutes for you because I was doing something. So I'm going to donate $100 to the Hope Foundation.
Okay, awesome.
And so two things that I've noticed is that I want to be reliable. And so it's a punishment to myself in a positive way. That's okay. I was late, so I'm going to contribute to the person's charity of choice. And that's something that's important for me. The other thing that you said, I think you had of course you had a +1 me. But one thing I've been doing is taking 5% of my salary every month and donating it to causes that I've been enjoying. So NPR, well, not Planned Parenthood as much anymore, but I used to. So Planned Parenthood or JCC or Birthright, anything like that, Wikipedia that you enjoy for free, but you just never pay for. And it's been really rewarding just giving more. It's something that, I would say Noah, myself, has been doing a lot more lately.
That's cool. There's some like magical effect, like when you start doing that, like it's almost like it breaks you out of that scarcity mindset and gives you that abundance mindset, and it's like it always comes back to you more. It's like a rule, a law of the universe. Like when I first started giving 10% of my income, I wasn't making a lot.
How much were you making?
Gosh, I was making like maybe like $70,000 or $80,000, right?
Okay.
I mean, because I practiced it then, like it kept on coming back, and now obviously I'm making a lot more money, and I still do it, like just religious.
Do you have any hesitation now that it's a lot more?
No, no, because I know that doing that is what got me. I have a strong belief that doing that is in some way responsible for what got me where I am.
I
So
love that, man. It's been hard for me, and I don't know if it's because I grew up Jewish or I grew up with, parents that were conservative in scarcity, which is very common. And so I've been talking to people and experimenting about over tipping. And that's kind of that was the starter one for me, where leave tips that change their day.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So
I
30,
love it.
and I've thought about this. I was having lunch 2 days ago, and it was a $30 lunch, and they had great service, and it's a place I go to regularly. And I said, all right, I'll leave a $10 tip, or whatever, 20%, $6 tip, $10. And I said, $10 is fine. That'll go in the thing. But if I left a $20 tip, and
Yeah,
if you give me, would that actually be impressive? Not impressive about me getting like anything about me, but will they walk away and be like, damn, what a great day? Yeah.
right.
And at the end of the day, $20 for me is not a big deal. And so it was a nice feeling at different amounts to practice over tipping, especially if you're not feeling good one day. Just go over tip someone, and pretty much it guarantees a great day.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's such an awesome formula just for combating depression too. I think that when we all go through like some mild depression, and like the number one thing you could possibly do, but the least thing that probably you want to do is to like do something for someone else. But I love that idea. It's like if you can use your leverage, like so it doesn't hurt you very much, right? Because you make plenty of money to make someone's whole day. That's awesome. Yeah,
And even if you don't make a lot of money, you could either over tip on something small, like at a coffee store, or
yeah,
you could do something for free for someone that you know. One of my easy ones in business is that if you're ever having a bad day in your business, just go help one of your customers. Just hit up one of
yeah,
your customers and be saying, hey, do you have anything I could do for free to you today? Or like, I looked at your site and here's some changes you made, or I saw you using our service and here's so you can do better. For me on Monday, today's Friday, on Monday, I was having a shitty day. I woke up shitty. I like went through the day shitty. I was being extra complaining, extra Jew whiny. And it was kind of a weird one. And there's something funny when you're not feeling great. You want to have people kind of be like, oh, it's okay. I'm
right,
sorry. You want people to feel bad for you, and you want it to go worse.
right,
It's weird.
right.
It's almost
Yeah,
like you want to just like jump all the way down. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go real shitty today. And even someone asked me, one of the guys on our team at Sumo said, hey, how you doing, man? I said, I'm fine, which I wasn't. I just wanted more people asking me that.
yeah,
My cry for attention. And what was stupid for me was that I ended up, I think I either went for a bike ride or I hit the gym, and I didn't even go that long. So I just got my blood moving. I went for a
yeah.
walk or a bike ride. And literally after the bike ride, I was like, I looked around and I started, the smile came out just like the sun comes out after a rain. And I was like, yeah, I feel good. And I realized, I was like, okay, Noah, if you're ever just not feeling good, maybe just go get a little bit of the blood moving. Go for a walk, do 10 jumping jacks. You don't have to dwell in it. You don't have to dwell in the problems that you have. But for
Oh yeah.
some reason, we like to bathe in them. We're like, oh, let me get that marinade of problems and just enjoy it.
Oh
And
yeah.
maybe you need that sometimes. But anyways, I think there are easier solutions. Whenever there are problems, that I'm trying to get better at saying, all right, what is a solution to that? Like we were talking about learning a language. Okay, my teacher's gone. Are there other teachers? Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So looking for solutions to problems instead of just kind of identifying and talking about the problems that you have.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I that was one of the things that really connected with me with Tony Robbins when I went to his seminars was that you can change your state instantly. And I've actually been practicing. One of the things I've been practicing is anytime anyone asks me how I'm doing, I say I'm great. and I because I realize that my subconscious listens to what I'm saying. And so if I
Oh, I
say
like
I'm
that.
great, then I can be great. Like and I could choose at any time, right? I could just like choose to be great. So it's that and people get shocked all the time. They're like, "Oh, I okay, I'm okay." Like they don't expect you to say I'm great. you know?
You ever experiment? Well, two things that you got me thinking about. First off, it's amazing how two people can be doing the same thing and have different emotions to it. Like
Mhm.
see the same picture and you're crying and I'm okay, that's just a picture. So it's amazing how we choose our emotions. It's kind of a
Right.
Tony Robbins thing, I would think, but or just in general, like you can choose how you feel. The other thing that I experiment with or I really enjoy is when people ask me how I'm doing, I generally don't say like good or great or okay. I say more of what's going on. And I find
Right.
that actually creates more of an instant connection and relationship. So when you ask me how's it going, I said, my cleaners were here. I'm having a great morning. I went for a good walk. And then that actually said, then you start talking about how you don't eat breakfast. Or I talk about now that I'm fat. And it just kind of creates a very interesting dialogue versus, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, bye.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That kind of reminds me of the whole thing, like of approaching women, of not saying, "Hey, my name is John. How's it going? Where are you from?" Right? And instead of like saying something interesting, so that it's like you're doing a pattern interrupt. So it's like, okay, so we're actually having a real conversation. We're not just saying, "I'm fine, I'm good. How are you? How's the weather?"
Yeah, I do notice. Yeah, or things like that. Well, we can talk about approaching people later, but I notice approaching people with a compliment is generally pretty easy. Just like, hey, I like this about you. Okay, well, let's talk about that, or other
Right.
things.
Yep, I definitely agree. So let me ask you, what do you think? I mean, I talked about kind of in the intro how like you show up everywhere. You definitely are one of those people that is extremely successful in pretty much whatever that you're pursuing. There's not a lot of people like that.
Hmm.
What do you think it is? I've always been curious. I always want to know, like, what do you think that your secret sauce is? What is the thing that you're doing that other people aren't doing? You know what I mean?
Well, I understand what you're implying. So I think
Right.
there's a few different parts there. Uh, I love marketing, right? And not
Okay.
just
Yeah.
marketing myself. Oh, let me get my brand. Let's get Noah. Like I've heard my voice enough. A lot of people, when you meet me in person, they say, "Wow, you ask a lot of questions." And it's because yes, I know all my own stories. I don't need to necessarily hear them repeated.
Right.
So uh, one thing is that like when you like when it's not that I'm necessarily everywhere, is that I'm everywhere where the people I want to be are.
That makes sense. Yep.
So that's the important thing with business and marketing is that you're not hearing me everywhere. You're hearing me everywhere I want you to hear because you're probably one of the people I'd like to hear my message or
Right.
promote products or people or things that I'm interested in. So I did the same thing when I was marketing mint.com. People were like, "Man, I see Mint everywhere." And I said, "No, it's because I'm looking for you. And I want you
Right.
to see it everywhere." You know, there's
Right.
I'm sure you've heard the thing with marketing where you need to hear things 7 times. And so yeah, you got to repeat and repeat. So with Mint, I targeted people that liked personal finance. Well, I'm back. I'm back. I
Okay.
don't know what happened. Yeah, my no, so I targeted personal finance blogs. And then in
Right.
terms of success, this is something I've given a lot of thought to. Number one, just for everyone out there, and this is for myself, because a lot of the advice I always give is just things I'm learning for myself and I share about it, not telling people how to live or what to
Right.
do, just what I found for me, is that we have to define our own level of success. We have to
Yeah.
define what that label is, because it's something that I say, that person's killing it, or that person's making love to it, or that guy seems super successful. And it's
Right.
not about one, I will promise you that the grass is always greener.
Oh yeah.
Every business I've ever seen where I think, man, they must be making so much more money. They don't have this many people. They don't have these problems. And then eventually I get to know them or I see their business and I think, God bless what I have. Sometimes,
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's an interesting lesson. Sometimes it's hard to appreciate what you have until you have someone else there with you, or you have someone else to help you recognize what you have. Like I have a friend who's got a fancy penthouse in New York. And when I come over, I say, holy shit, this is the greatest penthouse I've ever seen. And he's like, oh, I guess I got used to the view.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little perspective or a refresh to notice what you have. So number one, just think about what is success for yourself. Because for me, success is not generally how much more money I have, because I don't really even spend the money I do have. So
Right.
making
Yeah.
more of it defeats the purpose. So when we make a lot of money with AppSumo or with Sumo, it grows. It doesn't really change much for me.
Right. Yeah.
But
That's. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
no, please.
I was gonna say that. I mean, I totally 100% agree with you on that definition of success, because a lot of people, a lot of times, I kind of hate when people say, "Oh, but you're super successful. You're too hard on yourself," and I'm like, you don't know where my standards. Like, I could have
It's
a
their own.
day
Yeah.
where everyone's like, "Man, you killed it today. You made a bunch of money. You you did your workouts and stuff," but I know I didn't give 100%. I know that no matter how that I was not, that my standard was here and I didn't meet it
Totally.
and I'm not successful, but it's because it's personal. It's my standard, whereas someone else's standard of success is different. But when I know I'm not fulfilling my potential, which only I can know, then I'm not successful.
And we know, man, I was working on a podcast. I worked on it 4 hours last night doing the editing of it. And I've been working on it this morning and I'm working on it afternoon. And I know when it's great. We know
Yeah.
when we've done great work. And so one thing that I've been reminding myself is that surround yourself with people that expect the most out of you. You
Yeah.
should be around the people that when you put out something and you're like, what do you think? They said, oh, well, here's how I think you can make it better. And you don't have to listen to them exactly, but generally people are around a lot of people that, oh, that's great. And you're like, really? Like, how would I improve it? So I'm around like my buddy Neville or Anton or Chad or Brandon, who helps me make a lot of the YouTube videos. Literally, I don't know if anything I've ever done they've liked.
Yeah.
They're always saying, this is how you can make it better. And most of the time, that's why I improve it. And I think, oh yeah, that's great. And it did make it better. Because sometimes you're not an expert in everything. You shouldn't be, right? You can't be it. You specialize. It's literally impossible unless you're a computer. And so in terms of being successful or having things go my way, I used to have an ex who said, I hate that things go your way. And it's like a comedian or it's like a speaker on stage. That's only the 1 hour you see them.
Yes. Yeah.
No, none of these like faux internet like guru people show the real shitty times.
Right.
None of them also show their families and all the work they're actually doing, because they probably, I don't know, that shit weirds me out. The point for me though is that the people that are actually really successful are not talking about it. They're
Right.
working. And B, it doesn't also include all the failures and the 99% of the time that they're working on and the things that don't work out in that. And so I've done a lot of that through my life. I've been doing internet stuff for 17 years. And so I've been looking at what does it take to get success or get money or get recognition or whatever it is you want to define. And so for myself, it's a state of, am I working on things I want to work on because I can sustain myself working on it? Meaning, can I keep working on this for a long period of time and evolving? And I think those are frankly the two components to be successful. Are you willing to commit to this for some period of time?
Yep. Yep.
Not a week. I'm talking like a year. I'm
Right.
talking like a while, a year, 5 year, 10 years. Look at everything that's successful. Everything that is successful or impressive, look at, and then think about how long that took. And nothing is done literally within probably even 5 years.
Yeah.
Name any tech company, name any large physical company, and look at anything of them. And all of them took years. Even let's say Groupon, which maybe you say flamed out. It's a $4 billion company that took 4 years to get. Twitter, 5 years to get there. Facebook, 7 years to get actual significant traction. Google, all of them. But at the, in retrospect, you're like, oh, it's easy. So I think the thing that people have to consider is they're trying to accomplish whatever they want in life, within their health, within relationships, and within their work, is that it's going to take time. And that's something I'm learning as I've gotten older. Okay, it's going to have to be a little patient about it. And the second key component for myself is that not everything will work out, which is fine. You just have to evolve.
Yes. Yep.
And so you have to figure out, especially like, me and you both exercise a lot. You do things and you say, well, I'm not getting the result from this. And what I've noticed a lot of people do is they just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is good. I'm glad you're sustaining, but if you're not sustaining and improving, you're going to be at that same place. And so that's, looking at the new research, watching simple programmer videos about health and intermittent fasting and things that other people are doing. And so, yeah, a lot of my stuff doesn't work, and I keep persisting, and then I figure out why it's not working, and then I improve it for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I think so much of it, like being able to grind, is one of the skills that I had to develop so much. It's like, especially when you're not seeing results, right? Because there's like you said, it's like it takes. I believe that anyone can be successful at basically anything they're trying to do if they're willing to commit 5 years to it and they're willing to like grind without when the results aren't coming. But you're right. The change part too. I was just reading a book called Peak, which is a really good book, and he's talking about deliberate practice in that, and how it's like it's a painful. It's because you're doing the thing that constantly is challenging you, instead of like doing the same thing over and over again. Like playing chess over and over again does not make you a better chess player, but studying the master's moves, right, or playing guitar over and over again, the songs you like, does not help you. But doing scales that are more difficult and challenge you, which is actually uncomfortable, does. And that's people like usually fall into one of those two traps, I think. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Like you got to have both of those components, otherwise you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you don't grow through the easy. You don't go through the easy. You don't get arms like yours, which look great, by doing like, lightweight stuff a million. You could do it a million times, but it's likely that you got to keep growing through either maybe trying light, trying heavy, doing new routines. One thing for me that's been a game changer, I would say probably the biggest transformation just in my overall life in the past 12 months, has been hiring coaches in different aspects of things that are important to me.
Okay. Yeah.
So finding someone in health, and I have a health coach, or I'm learning Hebrew, so I have a Hebrew coach, or I'm working on my podcasts. So I paid this NPR producer $175 an hour just for him to listen to my show and give me feedback.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so,
smart. Yep.
yeah, there's YouTube is free. If you don't have the money for a coach, fine. There's this thing called YouTube. You're already probably on it. And for free, you have everybody in the world you admire. You have a lifetime of content you can absorb from them and then go and actually take action on. So having someone who's already an expert that can guide you to some extent can give you a better blueprint and shorten the amount of time you have to spend to master whatever things you're trying to accomplish.
Oh yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I'm actually right now, I'm working on, I'm contacting, I basically started, I was like, okay, well, I need a new wardrobe, and I kind of want to bring my style up to the next level because I'm doing so much video now. So I went, I said, started searching for celebrity stylists, or celebrity
Wow.
image consultants, and I found some image consultants, and this is surprising. Okay, you've got image consultants out there and stylists that work with celebrities, A-list celebrities. You know how much they charge an hour? $250 an hour. That's cheap, right? I mean,
That
if
sounds
you
like
can get someone, well, I mean, at that
okay.
level of advice, right? I mean, how much, if you could spend, $5,000, $10,000 and get a full, like, someone who's working with A-list celebrities, wardrobe and styling and image creation, for me, at least, with what I'm doing, it's a total bargain. It would take me so much effort and time to do that on my own. I'll pay the $5,000 or $10,000 to do that.
That's interesting. You got me thinking, okay, what parts of my life could I hire someone that's an expert to help me? Right. One of the things I was thinking in addition, so for everyone listening too, what part of your life do you want to improve? And is there an expert out there that could just help you save the time and the money from showing you the way? The other thing I was thinking about was the old school way that people learned things or became successful.
Yeah,
Right. So think about Leonardo or I don't know, Michelangelo or any of the famous artists. What did they all do? They had apprenticeships.
right.
And now we don't really do that. You kind of have college, but in college, you're not really learning relevant things or applicable things. And so it's, for younger people out there, anyone, how can you go work for someone, maybe help John promote his videos, or maybe do workout things with John, or help me with my podcast, whatever it is, and be able to be an apprenticeship and go back to the kind of old school ways of how you can become a master.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think I mean, think about how much you can learn if you're just following along, like doing with, and it's funny because I put out the offer sometimes on the YouTube. I'm like, bring me $50,000 and I'll hire you. And when I say that, what I mean is like, come up with some kind of idea, like, because I hate when people are like, I would love to work for you and help you out. Right. And just tell me what to do. And I'm like, no. That's the hard part. You see, that's what entrepreneurship is about, is you tell me what you're going to do for me. Like, you come up with the plan. Like, hey, John, I see that you need some help with this. I'm going to create a new website for you and I'm going to do it all myself. But can I do that? Yeah. All right. You got the plan. But if you come to me and say, hey, I'm willing to work for you for free, I'm like, so is 100 people. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about paying someone money. I want to know what you can actually do for me. And that's the key thing.
How long have you been working on your show?
On the YouTube, like in this podcast?
Yes.
I started to get serious about it about 2 years ago. That's when I upped it to, because I'm doing 2 to 3 videos a day now. And so I really doubled down on it probably about that time.
So, and you do 2 to 3 videos a day for the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years since I upped it to 2 to 3 videos a day. Maybe it's a year and a half. It's somewhere around there. I'm at like 1,300 or 1,400 videos, I think. So
Yeah, and we're back.
there we go. All right.
Well, so I thought about 2 things. Where number one, there's if you go to Amazon Books bestsellers, the top third are health.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like they're looking for this secret answer, and by the time you're gonna read through the book, oh, there's just gonna be this one thing, I just have to eat it, and if I eat that one purple fruit, I can get the body I want. And at the end of the book, the real answer, as always, is you've got to do hard work.
Yeah, it's pain.
You got to do hard work. And one thing, and the second thing I was considering is that sometimes it's nice, it's good and bad, and it's good and bad.
Right.
But it's helpful to know how long it takes to get success, or to actually get things you want. Not even success, whatever you want to label it as, but to get a YouTube channel to your level of what you've created. Okay, just do it for 2 years, take it very seriously, and make 2 videos a day for 2 years. And then you get it. And I like sometimes knowing how long it'll take, because then I can persist. Because I said, I've been doing my stuff, podcasting YouTube, for 6 months. I said, no, you can't even think about if you want to stop until at least a year.
Right.
You can't even
exactly.
Because I've listened to people like you, and I talk to others, and they're saying, it's taken me some time. And I'm like, okay, that's a good reminder. It's going to take time to accomplish what you want. And it's going to take time to accomplish impressive things.
Oh, 100%. In fact, I don't have my t-shirt on right now, but I created a t-shirt that says "Trust the Process" on it.
Oh, I love that.
I'll send you one.
Please do.
After. The reason why I created that is because trust the process, to me, it's like, instead of worrying about the results, right? This is something I just focus my whole life on. Is I never worry about the results, because the results, if I have a right process in place, the results will eventually come. I can't directly control results. I can only indirectly influence them, and that's just the whole illusion of life, right? That we think we can influence results. We can't, right? But what we can do is we can make a process. So one example I always use is I said, okay, if you want to learn how to juggle, okay, all you got to do is take 3 balls, lock yourself in a room, and get a whiteboard, and commit to throwing the balls up in the air, trying to juggle 1,000 times. That's the process. If you trust that process, I guarantee you, before you get to 1,000, you will be able to juggle. You don't even have to worry about the results the whole time you're doing it. All you have to do is put your head down and just do the process. And it's the same thing with, I think, writing, with YouTube, with podcasts, with anything like that. Is like, if you're just willing to come up with the process and do the process and divorce yourself from the results, it'll happen. Like it's you know.
Well, I want to share a story, and then I want to ask a question to you.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I was doing mountain biking, and I fell on my ass. So like my finger, and I'm all scraped up and all this shit. But I wanted to do this jump. There was this like huge jump. And if you saw it on video, you'd be like, oh no, you're a little bitch. Like, it's not that big of a jump, but it was scary to me. And so I spent 2 hours trying to just clear that jump.
Right.
And one of the things that actually helped me the most of it was having someone, I didn't even think about this now. I had someone who was watching me do it, and they recorded almost every one of my jumps. And so after every single jump, we went and watched the video. So you can see here, I'll pull it up on my phone. You can see on my phone, I have like 50 videos of me trying. Look, these are all different times that I've been trying to do the jump.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yep.
And then the last time, see, look, it's not going to look that scary at home, but check that out.
Okay. Okay.
It just looks really weak. But anyways, I was very proud of it. Because we worked on it. I had to
play that one more time, because I had the camera angle switched.
Oh yeah, okay.
It picked up my voice. So
all right. So.
Oh yeah, yep, you got it.
It was okay. It was scarier than it looks for everyone who's like, Noah's a little baby. But the point was, recording it, watching it back, and having the coach really helped. And so it was interesting to just be like, you got to stay with it. You got to stay with it. The thing I was wondering for you, let's say with the juggling or with your health or with your YouTube, how do you know you're doing the right process?
So what I try to do is I put on like the 2 hats, right? I put on the director or the planner hat, the person who comes up with the process, and then the worker boy execute it hat. And then, but I give myself enough period of time. Like you said, like you said, I think you're going to do the podcast for a year, no matter what happens, right? It's like, and then you'll check the results and see, is it successful? So I set up like a checkpoint, and I'm like, okay, well, am I doing the right thing? Because I got to use the best of my knowledge and ability and what I have to come up with a process. And I try to come up with a process that I know can't fail. So like, if you're trying to do that bike jump, right? If you said, okay, well, if I do it 500 times, or if I do it 30 minutes a day for 3 months, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to succeed, right? Like, I try to figure out what kind of process could not possibly fail, and that's the one that I execute. And then, and usually we can come up with it, right? It's like, that's why I said with the juggling one, like, and that's why I came up with YouTube, is I said, well, if I do 2 to 3 YouTube videos a day, how could I fail? How could I not eventually, like in 2 years, hit 100,000 subscribers? It seems crazy that wouldn't be successful. But I guess 3 months in, if I didn't see any traction at all, right, I might have some kind of a reevaluation period. But I told myself I was going to do it for at least a year. I told myself I'm going to do it until I hit 2,000 videos. And if at 2,000 videos I don't feel like this is worth it, then I'm going to stop.
Good for you. I love that mentality. That's a good way of approaching things. Like, commit to some amount of time and commit to practice, do it, and you will get the result. It's so simple, but again, even for myself, sometimes I'm looking around, I'm like, what's the shortcut? Where do I get the secret? And you just gave it to us.
It's kind of funny because you have that result curve, right? It's like you're doing, and then hockey stick, bam. And so it's like, and there's this wall where you lose motivation and you don't feel like doing it anymore, and it's not fun anymore. And most, like 90% of people hit that wall. But the Olympic champions, the Olympic athletes, they push on when they don't have motivation, and they get past the wall, and then like there's no one there. Like on mile 20 of a marathon, the crowd is thinned, right? and then that's where the lion's share of all the prizes go to. to. So it's like most people are stopping that 3 feet from gold. I've done it so many times in my life. I've got like, I call it the closet of broken dreams, where I've got like, a yellow belt from judo and, and soccer cleats and all this shit. And yeah.
Well, that's actually really interesting. What separated, like, you have a bunch of medals in the background and you have followed through with things. So what's the difference between those activities and the ones you did finish with?
I committed to becoming a finisher. That there was a moment in my life where I said, I am no longer going to start things I don't finish. If I think about how something's going to end. If I know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in 2 weeks, I don't even start it. So like I said, like I'm learning Italian now, I'm going to go through and become, I'm going to get to the point where I'm fluent enough, conversationally fluent in Italian. I'm not stopping until I reach it.
I love that. You know what's simple? That's a very easy mentality that everyone can accept or everyone can buy into. Like, I'm a finisher. And I like that. It's like, all right, I'm going to commit to it. And all you have to do is commit. There was you were talking about dating a little bit earlier. There's these guys, I think Charisma on Command. It's a YouTube channel. It's pretty popular.
Okay.
And I read one of their ebooks some months ago. And the number one thing, they said, the number one thing to get another person, male or female, or probably in a lot of aspects, all you have to have is conviction.
Right. Yes.
And I said, okay. And it's very simple. And it reminds me what you're talking about. I really love just commit to finishing. And as long as you commit to it, you're going to get what you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do like on that to riff on that a little bit. I do some coaching for guys. I mean, obviously, like my YouTube channel, right, is a lot of like young guys that are kind of nerdy programmers, right, and stuff. And so they might be a little bit socially awkward.
Nice.
So I did some live coaching when I was in Vegas, and I was telling these guys, I was like, okay, I'll show you how to do it. So I went up to like 7 girls, and I was like, hey, I'm on a mission, and they're like, well, what mission? Like, I'm looking for hot girls. Like, oh, we're hot girls. Okay, well, come with me. I'll take you to my buddy's table here. I've only got 2 arms, so I'll pick you and you can grab my arm. And it was so easy. And they were just their jaws were dropping on the floor, like the guys that I was and I told them, I said, literally, I could have walked up and said, my pants are on fire. And if I delivered it with conviction, like you said, with confidence, it doesn't even matter the words that are coming out, because human beings can detect incongruencies in someone's voice and their actions, or what they're saying and what they're actually thinking or doing. And like, if you have conviction, you're like the Pied Piper. People will believe and follow, even if you're saying the wrong shit. It doesn't, it's a powerful weapon. But you're so right about that.
I just agreed with you, so I'm giving you credit for that one. That wasn't me. I don't know if I think of myself as wise. I just think that I observe wise people and then I listen to the right ones.
So I want to ask you then. Okay, so I mean, one thing that I always feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but
sure,
you seem to do a lot of self-experimentation, and then you're sharing that, and that's so. What is your kind of your philosophy around that? Like, are you like, what's your master goal in life? I guess that's where we're, I mean, like, not money, not but like, where you, like, what guides you to say, I must go this direction, that master overarching, I'll be happy I'll be happy if I die, because when I'm on this path, not that I've accomplished things, but I'm on this path.
Yeah. I don't know if I live conditionally, like I'll be happy when, right. And I go through, I'll tell you, like, I feel bad for the girl I'm dating, because I'll tell you, there's like, I go through phases where some days, like today, I'm in a great mood. I get to talk with you. I don't generally think like, oh, my life mission. I know things I enjoy doing in my life. I know I love when people do their work they love. I know I love when I get to promote things that I like. Like, I get to promote either you, or I get to promote products, or I get to promote thoughts or knowledge. I don't necessarily think as much about a legacy.
Right.
And one thought I had that was really helpful was that just assume that you can have no legacy in life, that you don't like your kid is going to die and the things you do are pretty much insignificant. Because for the most part, almost everything we do in the history books, that they'll get changed in 100 years, even if there's 100 years from now, which there may not be.
Right.
And so considering it in that way, it's not that I just focus everything on the now. I'm not a new age hippie like that. I just try to live with myself and do things that fulfill me. And the things that don't fulfill me are the people that don't fulfill me, or the activities that don't fulfill me. And some of them aren't, that's not always easy, but the ones where I'm not getting it, I don't see a benefit in the future, I try to exclude and just focus on the things that really feel like growth to me. And then if there's times where I think, am I growing now? And the times where I'm wondering if I'm growing, that's the time where I'm like, okay, I should probably be evaluating what's going on.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So where I'm at now with a lot of the things I do, I kind of think I adapted this from Jason Fried, where for the challenges and things of what I want to do in life, I write down a lot of stuff and then I try to ignore it. And then I try to notice what foams to the top.
Right. Okay.
What stuff comes to the top that I just can't stop thinking about? What stuff have I woken up in the morning? Like some of these YouTube videos I make, I'm like, man, I just really want to make this video. And that's the stuff that I just go end up doing ultimately. With work. And I think what most people probably need to spend a little bit more time is just thinking about how they're living their life, what they're working on, who they're working on it with, and how they want it to be. Because inevitably, I think most people, I'd say 90% of people are just robots. They're like, AI is already real.
Yes.
AI is already everyone just going through the damn motions of living without being alive. And being alive doesn't mean drinking or drugs or just, having lots of sex or anything to the extreme of things, but it's just being conscious in the choices we're making. And so am I perfect at it? Fuck no. Do I go through a lot of sad days? Yes. But I do my best to say, all right, am I living the life the way I want to? And I try to focus it around that. And I go sit in this chair over there. I have kind of a moderate, cool chair. And I sit there a lot of mornings and I'm just like, all right, well, how do I want the day to be? And then once a year or as the year goes, I think about how I want my year to be. And then I try to make sure I can execute against that.
I like that. Yeah.
So I don't know if there's this is interesting about life. There's these Bibles that kind of give you playbooks and the process of living. And it's nice because you can just follow that. But if you don't follow religion, you have to decide your own playbook and how you want to live this life. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like, what scorecard are you going to start measuring your own life by? Like, what's your life resume that at the end of the year, someone said this to me. I think it's a very simple way of looking at it. When you die, you have a resume or a scorecard. How do you want it to look? So imagine being 75. And I don't do this great, but you're 75 and just work backwards now, being like, oh, well, how do I want to actually end up being? And it doesn't even have to be 75. I generally look at my life on a more year-to-year basis. So maybe I should be thinking longer term, 5-year, 10-year, or 30-year basis. But that's what works for me.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think, and I totally agree with you about the robot thing. Like, so many people don't realize how much possible. Like, you actually have the life, and you can do what you want. Instead, so many people are waiting for to begin their life, or for them to reach a certain point, so then they can really enjoy life or do what they want to do. And that, I mean, that used to be me for a while there, and then, but then I realized it's like, well, it's happening right now. I could actually
Totally.
and if you choose to have a job, you're choosing to trade your time.
When I think jobs can be great, I actually don't think everyone should run their own business. The main thing that I've been on that goes through my mind is just taking responsibility for your life. And I have a reminder every day on my phone. I don't know if it's come up yet, but I have a reminder that comes every day, and I just have it on auto repeat. It hasn't come up yet today, and it hasn't there. And all it says is take responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
And every day it reminds me where you don't like this job, you don't like these people, you don't like your body, you don't like your hair. I don't give a shit. Whatever it is for yourself, just take responsibility for it. And it's easy. And I do this myself. I complain or I point at others, or it was the weather, or it was my boss. Well, I'm my own boss, and sometimes he's a dick. But it's just like all these other things. And so, more in the narrowed focus of life, like, take responsibility for the way you want it to be, and don't look for others as the excuse of it, which I see as a very common problem.
Oh yeah. The victim mindset, right? It's like, if you take your responsibility for things that even technically are outside of your control, it's just it may not be true, but it's a better way to live, right? It's like,
oh, I completely agree with that, man. It's yes, I like living that way, and I wouldn't say I'm great at it. I say I still go through days where I'm complaining about certain work I have to do, and not all of it's easy.
Right.
But for the most part, I try to keep reminding myself, okay, this is your choices. Like, make choices. Seth Godin, not Seth Godin, Stephen Covey has said great. Stephen Covey has said great things. Like, just take choices. Like, it's a choice. Like, no one's making you do this. I had to do this. I think people should remove the word "I had to" and just start saying "I'm choosing to."
Right. Yeah. I actually try to practice that as much as possible. You slip so much. I try to prevent myself from ever saying I have to do this today. Instead, I say I get to, or I choose to.
Totally,
I get to lately. I've been using that.
I get to do this. Yeah. I mean, that's actually interesting. That's looking at it as like a very nice benefit or positive thing, huh?
Because if I can't say I get to do it, then I have to really question why am I doing it. Like, if I don't see it as a good thing, like, then it's like, well, no one's making me like do the things that I'm doing in my life.
Well, I think we're very trained, right? We're conditioned from our upbringing to follow the policies and rules and lines of everybody else. And then when you could start taking control of yourself and saying, well, I don't have to do this, and this is what everybody else is expecting, but this is what I really want. So in my business, for instance, and it's a little weird to talk about publicly, but I didn't really want to be running a company.
Right.
I don't really want to go to meetings. I don't really want to have to deal with people. And I love what we do, but I know that I really enjoy marketing and starting things and sharing stories or products. And so I had to figure out how to make the decisions and affect it so that could become a reality. And it took a year and a half. It wasn't an overnight thing. But now with Sumo, Chad runs that, Eamon runs AppSumo, and I get to spend my time talking with you. I have some labs projects I'm messing around with, and then some podcasts and YouTube stuff, which frankly gives me a lot of fulfillment. I really love doing it.
Yeah. I'm in a very similar boat with Simple Programmer. I try to the thing that I love to do is the YouTube stuff. So I try to do more of that and get I've got a lot of people that I've hired in the last year to take over the other stuff that, it was hard because it's like, I want things done a certain way, but I let go of that a little bit and said, well, I'd rather focus on the things that I actually enjoy doing.
I think that's such a great point, man. Focus on your sweet spot and then hire people or be around the people that their sweet spot's the other things. I always think about recruiting. We have a recruiter at Sumo and she loves doing it. And I think it's the worst job in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to find people that love what they do. And then I get to go spend time doing what I do.
Awesome.
So everyone just needs to put themselves in the place. Yeah, put themselves in the place that they enjoy. Go change your life to however you want it to be. And even for myself, there's things that are going to come up in 6 months or 3 months or next week that I'll be like, I don't really like how I'm doing this. And then just evaluating how I really want it to be.
Yeah. Then you're constantly growing, you're constantly changing, you're constantly reevaluating it instead of just accepting the status quo, accepting the default. So like you said, I think it's so well put that so many people are robots. They're just accepting the default, just running the program.
The robots. Yeah, I like that.
So we probably got to wrap up here, but before we do, I definitely want to plug your podcast and YouTube channel. So I'll put up links here. So podcast, we'll put up a link here for people to click. It'll be in the description below, and definitely subscribe to Noah's YouTube channel. Awesome stuff on there as well. Just I've been enjoying it. I really like the catchy theme song too that you've got on there with that little country-ish kind of.
Oh, the banjo stuff?
Yeah.
It's actually cool. It's my cousin playing.
Really?
Okay. You know what's interesting? I've been thinking about this off and on for the past few months, and I don't know who said it, but I liked it, is that no experts ever created something new.
Yeah.
And there's something there for the people that are thinking of doing things or just getting started. You are in the best position to create stuff, because someone like myself, for instance, in marketing, where I just kind of get stale. I'm like, this is how we always do it. This is how we always do it. And the people that don't know what can't be done are the ones creating the things that haven't been done. And so really thinking about that is amazing for anyone who's like, I don't know YouTube. Okay, great. Now it's your chance. And so I don't know what can't be done on YouTube. So I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff and trying to stay naive. And I think the more I can do that, likely it'll work out well.
Well, one thing that, just one final thing I want to talk about your stuff is that it just comes across in your podcast, in your YouTube, in your email, I mean, in your blog, everything that you've communicated, that you're genuinely trying to help people, and that authenticity comes through. And I think that's the key to building an audience, is what I found. It's when people know that you really actually care. I mean, yes, you're doing marketing. Yes, you're doing those things, but the underlying message that I always get when I listen to one of your podcast episodes, or I've been, reading your blog for years, is that it's or even just the one that you sent with the car and stuff. It's you're genuinely trying to help someone, and that comes across. That's you can't not be successful as far as building an audience when that's the approach. And that, at least that's my opinion. That's what I feel coming across strongly there.
I think people are getting smarter.
Yeah.
And people know what's bullshit, and people, looking for things that they believe are true and authentic and genuine. And I don't know, as you get more popular, whether you how that changes or not changes. And a lot of times it's how do I reach all these people? How do I do all these things? And I think for me, I just kind of come back to one, how do I make it interesting for myself?
Yeah.
How do I generally create something that I'm proud of for myself, where I'm excited to share it because I just thought it was great for me, and not arrogantly, I'm just proud of it. It's okay to be proud of what you do. And the second thing is that for anyone out there that's thinking, all right, I want to market something, or I want to grow a business, or I want to start something. And I was talking to someone earlier today. I told him I was editing one of my audios for a podcast, and they're like, "You do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, bitch, I still clean the toilet." You know.
Yeah.
So, and I think with YouTube and a lot of this stuff, I still go one by one, and I go back to the basics, and I go and talk to people individually, and I reply to comments myself, and it's just like, yeah, that's how you build large things one by one, where people just want to buy an instant house and an insta business, and that's just not the reality of what's going to be sustainable or have a good foundation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then all those things, like you've got to be able to do it yourself first if you're going to hire someone to do it anyway. So
I think that's I would love for you to say that again, because I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, you got to be able to do it yourself. And here's a bonus also, like that I found, because I did like 55 Pluralsight courses, and I've been doing podcasts, and at first I didn't have money. I was editing everything myself. Is that, the greatest way to get rid of ums and your speaking and to improve your speaking is to edit your own shit.
Oh my goodness, dude. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I've actually been doing that because some people emailed me. This guy Spencer keeps emailing me how many times I say like in my shows.
Right.
He keeps doing it. And so I've been editing my show, and good Lord, I say like a bunch. And so now, yeah, that's such a great point, man. When you actually have to do the work yourself, set up the ads yourself, start the business, do the editing, whatever it is, then you start realizing how you can improve and what things you're doing incorrectly and what things you said, oh, that was a good part.
All right, Noah, man, this
John,
has been great. This is fun.
I'm going to come work out with you in San Diego and get some tacos. We'll do a 5 p.m. burrito. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, next time you're in San Diego, let me know. Definitely, I'll put you through the grueling workout. You have to ask Josh Earl about it. I've put him through it a couple of times.
Really?
But,
it's grueling?
Oh yeah, I mean my workouts are tough, but
Okay. All right, I'm gonna make a trip out there, man. I'm putting it in my calendar. I'll figure out a time in a few months to get out there and do some tacos or burritos and a workout.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, man. So yeah, everyone out there, definitely check out Noah's stuff. Like I said, and I'm sure that you'll be a huge hit. So you're welcome to come back anytime. Simple Programmer. I know that at least I you know what, I have fun talking to you, so I don't even care if anyone else likes it. So, yeah.
I really enjoyed getting to know you better.
Yeah, same here. All right, man.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'll see you later, boss.